Hey there makers, I'm Bree from the team here at Minerva. Today I have rounded up some sweet sewing inspiration all about my favorite fashion decade, the 1970s. So I have picked 7 patterns with modern takes on vintage silhouettes. And to go with them, I've got 7 fabrics in prints and colors that are great for bringing wearable vintage vibes into your wardrobe. Now, I can't sum up a whole decade of fashion inspiration into just 7 pieces, but I did make sure to pull some of the iconic silhouettes and details. So I've got 2 free-flowing dresses, a ringer tee, some wide leg overalls, a jersey wrap dress, a button front shirt with some fancy details, and a classic A-line skirt. For fabrics, I wanted a mix of bold, warm colors and soft, romantic prints. Of course, all the patterns and the fabrics will be linked below so you can check out all the product details and see some great inspiration from other makers. I'm starting off with a pattern that swept the whole sewing community just off of our feet. Tilly and the Buttons outdid themselves with the Mabel sheared dress and blouse. This is such a gorgeous and wearable design. I have one on my cutting table right now and I'm so excited to get it made up. Mabel comes as both a blouse and a dress, and I think the dress version has such a floaty and romantic vibe that's really reminiscent of the 1970s. The peasant style is really pretty with those raglan sleeves, creating a lovely square neckline with elastic at the shoulders and at the neck. You can go for a short puff sleeve with a little ruffle at the hem, or go big with the long billowy bishop sleeve. Both the sleeves and the waist feature shearing, so the elastic thread not only provides that fun 70s detail, but it also makes it super comfortable. Mabel comes in Tilly and the Buttons full size range, so that is Tilly sizes 1 to 15, and that's roughly a UK 6 to 34, which is hips 33 to 61 inches. It's considered an improver pattern, so there's nothing difficult about it per se, but that improver rating does recognize that shearing is not typically among the first few sewing techniques that beginners learn. And if you've not tried shearing, it can take a little minute to get used to, but once you've got your sewing machine tension set, it's super easy and really fun to do. We have a couple shearing tutorials here on Minerva that I can link below, and Tilly's instructions are just, as always, super thorough as well. The other thing that makes Mabel kind of a little bit more on that intermediate side of things is that it works best in lightweight fabrics with some drape. So lightweight cottons like lawn or gauze are going to work nicely, but are still a little bit easier to sew. But viscose and crepe will really emphasize that free-flowing vibe of the design. For a swishy 1970s inspired Mabel dress, I have gone for this beautiful Minerva exclusive viscose challis. This is the print Nursery Blooms, and it is just such a gorgeous print. It's got this bright floral in this zigzag design. To me, this is very 70s Laura Ashley, and I really love the colors here. We often think of the 70s color palette as just orange and brown, and we love orange and brown. We'll definitely get to that too, but I think these bright reds and this gorgeous gold in here on the sky blue background is a really great way to do a fresh and fun 70s feel. I just think the Mabel dress is made for floral print viscose fabrics, and I think this one would be extra special with this wavy floral design. For the next 70s inspired look, I have a casual tee and some beautiful wide leg dungarees. So first up is the Rio Ringer tee by True Bias. I love that this is a pattern that you can have in your stash as an everyday basic, or depending on your fabric, you can really lean into those vintage vibes. So the Rio tee and dress is a semi-fitted t-shirt that comes in hip and knee length. So it's fitted through the shoulders and the bust and then kind of drops straight down like a classic tee. The vintage twist on this pattern is that it calls for contrast ribbing for the neckline and the sleeves instead of a standard stretched in neckband and sleeve hem. The printed Rio Ringer tee comes in US sizes 0 to 18, which is hips 34 to 46.5 inches. Rio is rated for the advanced beginner. It's a really great pattern for learning some fashion industry techniques for finishing jersey garments, but the instructions are still really clear and detailed to guide you all along the way. You'll want to look for knit fabrics with at least 40% horizontal stretch. So cotton jersey is the classic choice, but you could also look for cotton interlock or tencel jacquard. Or if you are wanting something drapier for a totally different look, you could go for wool, viscose, or ITY jersey. And you'll need fabric with at least 70% stretch for the neck and sleeve bindings. Ribbing and rib knits are usually best, but you could also use the main body fabric if it has that 70% stretch. I wanted a super classic Rio Ringer tee, so I have gone for this cotton jersey from the Minerva Core range. Now, it was so hard for me to choose which stripe color combination I wanted. I love all of the tonal pairings. There's like a wine with purple, there was rust with ochre, pink on pink. They're all so gorgeous. I finally landed on this one called French Navy. It is such a beautiful combination of that soft, warm navy with this really pretty marine blue. This one is 95% cotton and 5% elastane. It has about 50% horizontal stretch, which is perfect for the Rio. It's nice and lightweight, which is good for a t-shirt, but there's enough body to it that it's gonna hold that classic tee shape. Now you can go subtle with some matching blue or navy ribbing for those bindings, but my vision for this one was to go full contrast with some mustard colored ribbing for a full-on vintage Rio Ringer tee. To go with the Ringer tee, I opted for a pair of wide leg dungarees. Now, I was really tempted to go with a flare style jean or trouser, but in the end I decided that a wide leg pant was going to be a little bit more versatile for everyday wear. Plus, I fell in love with the Closet Core Jenny pattern. So this one comes as overalls, trousers, and shorts. And the versatility and ability to mix and match the features and details of this pattern is so good. So the Jennies are a pair of fitted wide leg trousers or shorts with a high-rise waist, deep pockets, and a side zip closure. You can add the bib to make an elevated set of overalls or leave it off for a versatile pair of trousers in either full, cropped, or shorts length. The printed Jenny comes in US size 0 to 20, so that is a 33 to 48 inch hip. Closet Core rates Jenny as an intermediate pattern. The side zip and extra hardware aren't anything to be afraid of, but they do take some extra practice, a little bit of patience. There's also lots of optional details and top stitching, which make it a great project to really sink your teeth into. You'll want to look for sturdy woven fabrics for the Jenny to hold that nice wide leg and to support the structure of the bib. Bottom weights like denim, canvas, twill, gabardine, and heavy linen are great options. I've picked this beautiful mustard cotton twill. This one is from the Minerva Core range. It is a bit on the lighter side for a cotton twill, but it's plenty sturdy for holding the shape of this pattern. And I think it would be really great for kind of maybe a more summery pair of Jennies, maybe in that cropped length. The twill weave gives it a little extra sheen and texture as well as some extra durability. This one comes in several colors. I went for this mustard because of course it is that classic 70s earthy palette, but I was also thinking it would be so great sewn up as the Jenny overalls with this mustard bib layered over that navy Rio Ringer tee with that mustard contrast ribbing at the neck. Would be such a gorgeous 70s casual outfit. It wouldn't be a 70s roundup without a jersey wrap dress. This is such an iconic silhouette and it centers comfort and versatility without giving up style. There are loads of jersey wrap dress sewing patterns out there with tons of fun twists and features, but I wanted to keep it really simple and pay homage to that classic Diane Furstenberg style. So I have picked the Cashmerette Appleton dress. It is a knee-length wrap dress with short 3/4 or long sleeve options. It has a waistband and a stretched-in neckband for a gape-free fit. The Appleton dress comes in sizes US 0 to 32, which is spread across 2 envelopes. The 0 to 16 package covers hips 35 to 46 inches, and it's built for a relatively straighter figure through the waist and hips. The 12 to 32 range covers hips from 42 to 62 inches and is drafted with more curve in mind, as well as having a slightly higher waistline. Both bands include cup sizes for a great fit across the chest, which is so essential for a wrap dress. The Appleton is rated for advanced beginners. It's a pretty straightforward construction, and if you're used to sewing with knit fabrics, it makes for a quick little dress project. For fabrics, you'll want to look for light to medium weight knits with at least 50% horizontal stretch. So cotton, viscose, and tencel jerseys are really perfect options for the Appleton dress. For a super versatile and very comfy Appleton, I have gone for my favorite jersey fabric. This is the Minerva Core range bamboo cotton jersey, and this is the color Bordeaux. So this is 68% bamboo, 28% cotton, and 4% elastane. So because it is primarily bamboo, a type of viscose, it's really soft and slinky and has really good recovery. The cotton content in here gives it just a little bit more body as well as durability and opacity. I love this fabric so much. I have almost a dozen garments made up in this jersey in my closet in so many different colors, and I just love how well it washes and it wears. It has gorgeous movement and it feels really, really good on the skin. I think this Bordeaux is so perfect for like an everyday dress with just like a little hint of 70s sexiness. Very perfect for the Cashmerette Appleton. The next little look I have is a classic shirt and skirt combo with some fun 70s details. So 70s button front shirts are just so iconic. I love how they take a simple shirt and it just becomes a canvas for so many cool details. We got oversized collars, pin tucks, ruffles. So I really wanted to pick a pattern that would reflect some of those creative details. So I have gone with the Liberty London Comrage cowboy shirt. I love this cowboy Americana style. The yoke details on this pattern are so, so good. It is a unisex button front shirt with some subtle shaping in the side seams. It's got a collar, collar stand, a separate button placket, and some really beautifully curved sleeve cuffs. There are options for a pleated chest pocket. Now views A and B have a classic pointed shoulder yoke, and you can leave it as kind of a subtle detail or play it up with a contrast fabric and some piping. View C keeps that pointed yoke but brings it down to like the high chest. Then view D is definitely like that classic Western shirt with a curved yoke down at the high chest. Now the Comrage cowboy shirt comes in sizes small to large and extra large to 3X. So the small to large envelope is for hips 35 to 44.5 inches, and the extra large is for hips 46 to 57 inches. It is an intermediate pattern, and the written instructions with Liberty are a little bit light, so I would recommend having either made a woven shirt before or just be prepared to research some techniques like inserting the collar stand and doing the plackets. For fabrics, Liberty, of course, recommends their Tana cotton lawns, which would be lovely, but you can also use cotton chambray, poplin, shirting, or lawn, as well as lightweight linen. So I have picked a really romantic rose print cotton poplin. I just really love the vintage feel of this floral print. Now this comes in 3 different colorways, but I have gone for this cream background. I just love these red and pink roses. There's little splashes of like ochre and sage and a little sky blue. This one is really nice and lightweight, but still has a good amount of body, which is going to be perfect for holding the collar, the cuffs, and the button placket. I think it would be really, really fun to pull like one of these background colors like the ochre or the sage and go with a contrast yoke, either in like a poplin or a lightweight needle cord, or you could go all in on the cowboy theme and go for like a faux suede for the yoke. But either way, if you keep it simple with a self fabric for the yoke or go for full on vintage, I think this rose print would be so pretty for the Liberty Camouflage cowboy shirt. To go with the Western button-down shirt, I have a beautiful A-line skirt. So I love the structured denim or corduroy skirt in that classic 70s A-line silhouette. So I've gone for one of my favorite patterns, and it's the Reed skirt from Grainline Studio. It's a paneled A-line skirt with a contoured waistband. There's an option for a button front, which is really fun and gives it some extra visual interest. Or for a cleaner look, you can skip the front placket and go for a center back zip. You can also go for an easy turn and stitch hem that hits just above the knee, or you can lean right into those 70s vibes and make it midi length with a unique horizontal panel to go at the bottom. The back patch pockets are optional, and you can choose between slash or patch pockets for the front of the skirt. The Reed skirt comes in Grainline's improved size range, so there are 2 bands to choose from. The 0 to 18 pattern covers hips 35 to 47 inches, and it's drafted for a straighter figure through the waist and the hips. The 14 to 30 envelope is drafted for hips 43 to 59 inches with a more curvy figure in mind. Reed is a really good beginner pattern. The paneled seams make fitting really accessible, plus it's got that contoured waistband. It's a great pattern for practicing skills like top stitching and sewing in closures. For fabrics, you'll want something with a bit of structure to hold that A-line shape, so twill, denim, corduroy, and linen are really good options. So I have chosen this beautiful Minerva Core Range 21 Wale Baby Cord fabric. This is such a lovely soft needle cord. So the wale refers to how many of these little ribs you have per square inch. So with this really fine needle cord, you have a more subtle texture than, say, a chunkier cord. Now, a chunky cord is probably like a little more 70s style wise, but I think that this needle cord still like hits the vibe, but is maybe a little bit more versatile and wearable for the everyday. Plus, I absolutely fell in love with this rust color. It has this really sweet, like pinky undertone to it. Like it's almost like a blood orange feel to it. I think it would be so pretty paired with that rose print and will make such a gorgeous Reed skirt. For my last pattern, I have picked the Wilder gown from Friday Pattern Company. The silhouette is such a fun, modern take on the Victorian trend that was very big in the 70s. The ruffle at the neck and the tiered maxi skirt feels very vintage, but then the raglan sleeves and the boxy shape of the bodice give it kind of a modern edge and a little bit more wearability. The Wilder gown comes in Friday Pattern Company's full size range, which is extra small to 7X, so that is for hips 34 to 63 inches. It's considered an easy pattern. The construction is really clever in that it looks quite detailed, but it's really simple sew. So it's designed for lightweight wovens, and you can definitely go for a cotton or linen to emphasize the gathers of the skirt and the style lines of the raglan sleeves. But I would say if you're leaning into those 70s vibes, fabrics with drape is going to give it a softer, flowier silhouette, so I would definitely go for a viscose, tencel, or crepe. For my 70s inspired Wilder gown, I have picked this absolutely stunning Atelier Brunette viscose crepe. This print is called Lucy, and it comes in 3 colors. All 3 colors are gorgeous, but I really love this combination of the ochre and the powdered pink in this abstract floral. The crepe texture is really lovely. It adds a little bit of like little sheen and dimension to the print. This fluid drape is going to be absolutely perfect for those swishy tiers of the Wilder gown. So those are my top picks for some 70s inspired sewing projects. Again, this is one of my favorite fashion eras, and it was so hard to pick just 7 patterns. So I have some sneaky honorable mentions I'm just gonna slip in here. So you might want to check out the Jessa trousers by Tilly and the Buttons. They are such a fun little flare jean. The Cashmerette Vernon is a button-down shirt with options for a really nice, beautiful pointed collar, oversized lantern sleeves, and then pretty much everything by True Bias has a little bit of 70s inspiration within the design. And if you're looking for a bit more 70s inspiration, you'll want to check out the hashtags here on Minerva. So you can search for things like hashtag sewing 70s, hashtag vintage inspiration for some really great makes by makers all around the world. It's super fun to just like scroll through and see what people are up to. I really hope you have enjoyed this round of vintage inspiration. Comment below if you have a favorite 70s pattern or fabric, or better yet, you can make a post over on the Minerva community to show off your favorite vintage inspired project. We absolutely love seeing what you make, and if you have any questions about a pattern or a fabric, if you're looking for a recommendation, drop us a comment. We'd love to help you out. So that is all from me today. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and following on Minerva. We have tons of happy sewing content coming your way all the time. So we will hopefully see you again very soon. And until then, happy making. Bye.